What's up? It's the weekend and we are outside catching some vibes. Here with another video. It's Drew, your content creator, your favorite day trader. We're out. We're about to go and catch a little happy hour, leaving an appointment. The plan is to definitely hop on the charts at some point this weekend and walk you through some trades. We had our first green week. Yes. So exciting. A lot of exciting things happening. I'm going to tap back in. We're going to catch some vibes. Sunday, and it's a gloomy, cloudy Sunday here in Texas, but we're moving around, we're active. We are on our way to a community service event for our church where we're gonna be making some backpacks for foster kids for when they return to school. So got a couple items for that. We're about to be putting that together, and it's the first time that we've seen everybody in a while since we had the baby all together as a group. So that's gonna be fun, but definitely ready to get on the charts after this so we can review some of these plays that I caught. And earlier I said that this past week was my first green week. That wasn't true. I've had green weeks, but this was my first week where it was all green across the board. You know, I consider if I got 3 days where I'm green and 2 days where I might have had like some L's, I still would call that a green week because I had more green days than red. But this was the first week where I ended it all in profit, all green days, boom, 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 5 days we winning. So I want to talk about that, how we got there, my mindset to make that happen, and some lessons that I learned along the way. But I've just been having fun this weekend. I love family time. I love doing stuff with my family and getting active outside, outdoors. And that's just something that this 9 to 5 doesn't really allow me to do. During the week, it's all gas, no brakes. I barely have any time to see my loved ones or to do things for myself, which is why we're on this journey in the first place. That's why we're trying to make it happen. We want some of that time back. And if you've been trading for like years on years on years and you're like, man, I can't even say that I've had a week where it was all green. On my P&L, it was all green. And I'm happy about that. Like, if you can't say that, then I'd say that there's some decisions that needs to be made around your entries. I'm not even going to say the strategy. I'm going to say the way you're taking your entries, the setups that you're looking at, and your confidence with those setups. So I want to talk about all that. All of that comes with the journey. So I'm going to tap back in with you guys after we finish this event and have some breakfast. So stay tuned. Alright, y'all. So we are finally in front of the computer. Let me make this small. And I'm going to walk us through this trade that I took. This trade happened on Monday the 12th, but it was a great one, honestly. This was a win. I know a lot of folks caught this, so let's start it out at about 8:05. We're going to watch how price action moves. So this trade happened Monday the 12th, opening bell. This was a banger. For anybody that caught it, well, at least it went to, I think, about a 1 to 3. So I'm going to wait for this to catch up to right about 8 o'clock to trend upward. Slowly but surely here. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and speed it up a little bit. Okay, boom. Okay, wait, that happened fast. So let me back up a little bit. So we see this break to the upside created this demand zone right here. I told y'all I'm a supply and demand trader. So I got my little handy dandy toolbar there, marking up this demand zone. I like to include the green wick in there as well. Let's make sure I got everything lined up how it needs to be. And then I like to take it a step further, and then I just label mine because I do like to use both the 5-minute time frame and the 15-minute time frame. So I'll put, because we're on the 5, right? Yeah. So I'll put demand zone 5 because I will take entries off of the 5-minute if it taps into a 15-minute demand or supply zone. To me, those zones align in a way that I use as kind of like a confluence that, okay, this is a higher probability that this trade may play out. So that's what I like to do. So, okay, we got this demand zone that was created here. We're waiting on price to come down and tap us in because right now we're not in. Price just took off, and that's a nice play, but we're supply and demand traders, not breakout traders. Okay, boom, we got our tap. Let me go back just a little bit. So before the tap. Okay. So when price does tap into our zone, I'm probably going to say this like a million times, but shout out to Cam, because between her and my husband, who's also a trader, they both taught me everything that I know so far about trading. And so that includes the 3 points of entry, which can be aggressive. It can be conservative, which is waiting on a bullish candle close and then entering there. In this case, since we're hitting off the demand zone, if this was hitting off a supply zone, then it would be waiting on a bearish candle close. So anyway, you have one. Ooh. Hey, let me just have 2 conservative, 3 break of the candle, which would be after that conservative candle closes, entering there to pretty much ensure that you're moving towards the upside. But at that point, you're getting further away from the zone, and the play may not always go to the 1-to-1, so you could be leaving some money on the table, but it is the safest option. I only am using break of the candle if I'm kind of not sure how everything's going to play out. Most of the time I like to stay in the conservative range. So let's see. Boom. At that point, I'm going over here and I'm marking up my long position. We see this stop loss is probably at this about a 29, so this is a good zone. Stop loss would be a little bit under the zone. I like to go ahead and line up a 1-to-1 like that, and I mark it because 9 times out of 10 I'm taking profit at that 1-to-1 spot, and I'm gonna leave a runner unless there's been some sort of signal that this play can go further than that 1-to-1. Like, but if there's a supply zone up here or anything like that, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go ahead and close out my contracts for the most part at that 1-to-1. But let's see, a 1-to-2 would be there. And so this break to the downside Let me see. There is a supply zone right here that was created at, what's that, 625. So usually when I'm doing my top down analysis, I like to mark up these zones because sometimes price will still respect them. So that's just me. You can see that it was invalidated, but price may come back and tap the zone and want to go down. So I just like to see what's going on. Mark it up. So that says supply zone 5. Right. And we already see price hit that TP. Price hit that TP. I would have been out at this 1 to 2. It went straight back through the supply zone, which is awesome. I would have been out right around here. I think that's where I took profit. But this did go to about a 1 to 3. So this is like a textbook setup. This took all of, let me see, this was 8 o'clock to 9:10. We got our tab at 8:55. It tapped, closed outside the zone. Price came down, tapped again, took off bullish. You could have got in off the tap. You could have got in right here on a conservative entry or break of the candle, and you still gonna hit. Like, this was just one of those trades. This is what you wait for. This is why you're patient. Because I mean, some people would have made money off of jumping in right here, but me, myself personally, I like to stick to my system and process and supply and demand, hitting off that zones off the tap. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting on the tap. So, just trying to stay consistent. Like I said, there's plenty of other strategies that you could be using, and they're gonna work. Support and resistance, all of that, they're gonna work, but you gotta stay patient, and that's what I'm working on. I'm working on building that consistency. I was able to be green, like I said, every day this week pretty much, but it wasn't as if there weren't any lessons that were learned. There were definitely lessons along the way. And I like to review those. Like I said, it's Sunday. I like to go back and review my lessons learned. I think I'm going to make it a part of my pre-trading plan to look at the lessons after I check the news, do my top-down analysis, mark up my charts. I think the last thing I want to do is review my lessons from the previous week just to make sure those are fresh in my mind whenever I get ready to trade tomorrow. Because I'm taking this seriously. Like, I'm pretty proud of myself for having this green week, and you can do it too. Like, it's absolutely possible. So that's what this is all about. Like, I want to put everybody on in the same way that I was able to go to YouTube and catch some free content and get the gems and learn that way and be able to jump in the market, create my trading view, get my Top Step account, start this evaluation, and try to change my life. Anything that y'all want to see, like, I really enjoyed making these videos. If there's anything I want to see in particular, like, just let me know. I want to continue to do the lifestyle because that's what I like to do. But, like, if you want more tips, if you want more psychology, just comment and let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. I am trying to grow my page. To me, there's never enough material out there about this, which is why I'm making it. Like, if you're like, oh man, like, she's not really talking about nothing that I haven't already heard before, let's talk about something that you need from a channel that you're not getting. I'm willing to take this page there when it comes to the trading, and I'm still on my journey of learning as well. So I really just want to grow with y'all and motivate y'all, and I want y'all to motivate me, and let's, like, get the bag. It's plenty of money out there for everybody. So let's pop up my lessons from this previous week up here. Let me see. I hope y'all can see it. Let me move it. Bow. So, lesson number 1. If I'm in the green and I've already won a trade, especially if it's over $250, I need to be done for the day. Because any time that I've taken a trade after a win, I got punished. Like, I end up fighting for my life to claw myself out of a hole, and that's not what we're doing. So, one trade. Second, I want to let the opening candle close if I'm needing to manage my risks, because we know that that opening bell for the New York session, which is what I trade, can be volatile. So I want to let that candle close before deciding what my entry is going to be. And third, I don't need to be switching up my bias unless it's absolutely necessary. When I say absolutely necessary, I'm meaning, okay, at first we were moving bullish and now all of a sudden the market's selling off and I know prices wanting to go down. At that point, there's no point in taking buys. If either I'm going to stick to buys and I'm not going to trade that day, or I'm going to need to reconsider a better entry off of a bearish setup. I don't want to make a habit of taking like counter trend trades. I try to stay with the trend as much as possible. So that's why I said don't switch my bias, because you can catch taps off the supply zone even if the market is bullish, but I would prefer to just like remove all the confusion, be looking for buys. When I say buys, look for buys. When I say sells, I'm gonna look for sells. So there's that. And lastly, clean setups only. You can see sometimes a lot of chop happens up in here. Not really interested in that. Like, I just wanna wait for price to break to the upside or break to the downside, wait for a clear zone to present itself, and then get in off the tap. That's when I have the most successful days, when I just have clean setups and I'm patient enough to wait for that. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, I really enjoyed recording it. Like this if you really enjoyed watching it. Comment something that you would like to see, and subscribe, because I want to push out content to y'all. If y'all are watching, I want to give it to you. So just let me know what you want to see, and thank you so much. See you later.